What's going on, guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. For this, we're doing my second run through of Colosseum Lucy with a bunch of different teams that you could possibly use to farm this out, and it's the second version of me doing this. So I've already done a previous video, so if you want to check that out, go ahead and check it out in the card description above, or you can check it out in the description below. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the teams. Colosseum Lucy as a unit, and Colosseum Lucy, of course, is going to max out at 5 sockets. He's going to have 4 combo hits and max out at 2,000 HP, 1,500 attack, and 271 recovery. He's also going to get a lot of attack on his limit break, giving him a very, very good limit break, of course. His captain ability is going to be boosting a recovery of strength and dex characters by 1.2, and boost the attack of strength and dex in quick characters by 3.25 after scoring 3 perfects in a row. So it's kind of like a G3 mechanic, but like free to play, but 3.25 instead of 3.5. He's also going to, if your captain is a strength character, boost his character's attack against strength characters by 1.5 times. So it makes it so he doesn't get as much reduced damage against strength characters if you are using a strength captain. So attack and HP of dex and quick characters by 75 if your captain is a strength character. Unfortunately, he does not boost strength characters for some reason. I don't know why, but he only boosts dex and quick. His special ability is going to cut the HP of one enemy by 20%. That's going to ignore damage to enemy abilities and barriers, which is really, really good because it goes through barriers. And that's like only character that does that through barriers, I believe, is Legend Blackbeard. So by itself, that's really, really good. And he's also going to change the top row to strength, the middle row to quick, and the bottom row to dex, and then amplify orb effects by 1.75 for 1 turn. Easily one of the best, if not the best, Colosseum unit in the entire game. Very, very good unit to farm. Definitely recommend farming him. So without further ado, let's go into the version 2 teams. So for this team here, we have the double Franky team with, we're going to have Treasure Mode A sub with Marco's, version 2 Marco sub, the Colosseum Nekomamushi, and Cavendish. And Cavendish is here for the defense down conditional. Obviously, if you want to use a different character here, that's totally fine. I actually wanted to bring a dex character here, so it would be a little bit easier to kill Danshin Zhao, and just to make sure I had enough damage. Ended up being I had more than enough damage. Colosseum Neko is here to bring orbs on the stage with Lucy, and if you have another way of getting orbs like Shirahoshi or wherever you want to bring, that's totally fine as well. I have the Ace and the Marco. Those two are kind of required, not really required, but kind of required because they're both strength fighters, and they're going to have a very large boost on this fight when you're fighting the final boss. So definitely want to bring both of those. Colosseum, the Marco, if you have a different strength fighter you want to bring, that's perfectly fine. I kind of use him as a damage reducer here because I screwed up on exactly how I want to do the turns and how I wanted to play this. So if you do want to use him as a damage reducer, or if you want to bring a different damage reducer, that's fine. Just try to bring a strength fighter damage reducer, or you can bring someone that delays the Danshin Zhao as well. But I don't think that it's like a large amount. I mean, you could use 5+ Luffy, I guess. That would work fine too. When we go into the fight, going into this third room, of course, we had the 2 guys. We have Don, Sai, and I don't know, and what's his name? Ideo. And you got to kill them in 2 turns. You got to kill the first one in the first turn, and the second one in the second turn. Otherwise, you get lots of annoying stuff happening. Walking into Danshin Zhao, he's going to have a 2-turn % damage cut as well as attack up. And you can remove both of them, and he is delayable. So you can either delay it out, you can just tank the hits, whatever you want to do. I just tanked the first hit, and I just went in. The second hit I tanked as well. And then the third hit I kind of tanked because I was like, I wasn't really sure I had the damage. But I could have just gone for the burst, and I didn't really need to use the Marco here, but I did. So it was just mainly because I didn't think I had the damage when I popped my burst. So I was kind of just trying to figure out what I wanted to do as far as damage goes. And said, you know what, I'll pop Marco here just in case I don't have damage. And then in the final room, what I do is I pop the Franky special first, and Colosseum Nekomamushi, as well as the ship and the Cavendish. If you wanted to bring in a defense down character instead and not take this third turn here and try to just go for the burst, you could do that as well. And if I had my Marco fully up, it wouldn't even be this close. He just was 1 turn off, so it didn't stall enough. That's all it was. So right now I'm going to pop on Danshin Zhao. We're going to be popping the Franky special. And just in case you don't get all the orbs you want, you're going to pop the Ace special here so that you can get full matching orbs, except for on your Cavendish. Now, if you don't want to use Ace as an orb manipulator, you want to use something else, that's totally fine. I just really needed a strength fighter orb manipulator, and there's very few options. Unfortunately, of course, you can see we're not doing a ton of damage there, but because we're using strength characters to hit this Danshin Zhao, we actually do enough even if we were using straight characters, we do enough damage to kill him. So it was kind of a weird team composition. If you did want to bring like an orb boost or orb manipulator that's strength, that would be cool, but I don't think there's too many of those. Team Ace is kind of like a niche unit, so to have there. And then we're going to be popping the Captain Action, of course, and the specials on the final boss, and using Neko to get full board orbs. Super weird, I got like almost full matching orbs on both fights. Another orb manipulator I was thinking about using was going to be Strength Lucci. I mean, he could work instead of Ace here because you're using Franky. I don't really see any reason why they wouldn't work, and that might actually work better. But I actually just decided to make it using TM Ace. I'm not really sure exactly why, but it works fine. The next fight here, we're going to be going over a V2 Doflamingo team, and this V2 Doflamingo team is really freaking cheese and really easy. All you got to do is like hit with your units, and you basically do retarded amounts of damage with the Doflamingo here just to overkill, and you're done. You really only have to do about 1.5 million overkill in order to do enough damage to kill the final boss. It's really not difficult at all. I was trying to figure out how I could do the max amount of overkill. It's actually really not difficult at all. You don't need the candies or anything like that. Just you go all in a Danchan Jiao with Orb Boost, Type Boost, and Conditional. And I think I used Chain Boost. I'm not even sure if I used Chain Boost. I did. Yeah, I did use Chain Boost. You don't need Colosseum Enel, not required. You don't need Limited Akainu, not required. I just wanted the most damage I could possibly do here. You don't need treble either. You can probably do it with side Diamante. And you can see this is the first time where I actually fucked up and I messed up. Now we're back in again, and we're gonna be using Danchan. We're just gonna burst in the Danchan Jiao. You can see I just hit with the Akainu once after hitting with 2 straight characters. That's more than enough damage. And I could hit with a V2 Dofi, I could hit with anybody, and it didn't really matter who I hit with. There was the Dex unit, but just I attack with 2 strength units and just way overkill the guy. Then when I use my V2 V special here, you can see it does 4.2 million damage. Like if I did 1.5 million overkill, that would have been 6 million total damage I could have done to him with 2 different Dofis, so it's fine. And the next thing we're running today is the German 66 squad. Pretty much every unit is replaceable here. And the reason they're all replaceable is because you're just blowing through the content really quickly and trying to get as much damage off the final boss. If you wanted to use other powerhouse team, you can use the Driven team, you can use whatever team you want. As far as subs go, none of them are really required. Just makes it a lot easier to get through the earlier stages if they are all there. So the 2 judges, obviously you can pop 1 judge on Danchan Jiao. You can even pop 1 judge on the stage 3 if you want, just so you can have enough damage. But you're not going to be using both specials, so your subs don't really matter too much. You just want to bring as much damage as you can. You can bring Boa Sisters here. You can bring pretty much every single judge team you can think of. That's what's really nice about this team. I would just recommend that you bring some kind of conditional and type boost, and you'd be totally fine. The Boa Sisters are probably the easiest way to get that done, and I don't really know of a ton of other ways to do that, but that's probably the easiest way to get it done. Okay, so this team is just a ridiculous team. I want to see how much damage I could actually do to Danchan Jiao and do an overkill hit with a cerebral team. None of the units are really required in this team. I would in fact bring 1 less unit here because this team is actually difficult to do because there's no delay or defense down stuff. So definitely a little bit trickier if you're not sure what you're doing. What I would recommend doing is actually bringing subs that would counter Danchan Jiao. I gotta do like way more than necessary overkill here because I'm stalling out the 2 turrets and making sure the damage percent damage is gone. You don't actually need to do all that. If you have something that removes percent damage, you can bring them, and you don't need V2 Law here. It would actually probably be better to bring someone that removes percent damage instead of bringing V2 Law, because you're already going to have an Orb Boost with Rayleigh, so he's like completely just over the top overkill. So definitely somebody that removes percent damage reduction would be better. But in this team, we have every possible boost. We have Orb Boost, Type Boost, Color Affinity, chain lock and conditional boost. So 1.75, 1.75, a 3 times chain lock, a 2.25 orb boost, and a 2 times type boost. So very, very interesting that we're gonna have all this. So the first thing I hit with is Croc, so I don't do any damage at all, and then I hit with the Sabo, and I do just ridiculous amounts of damage. And what's really interesting is that Sabo is a character on this team with Enrage, so he's actually doing the most amount of damage, which is fun. And then when we get into the final room, we just of course use the V2 Dofi special, and we are done. The next team of the day is going to be our free-to-play and garbable team, which is also not global friendly. I'm sorry. But it's free to play and guardable, which is really nice. And I'm using a Luffy as friend captain for orb boost. We have Sabo just to make sure we have enough damage on, I believe, the Danton Jiao. And I'm using, of course, the Boa as well there just to make sure I have absolute enough damage. Then we get on Danton Jiao. I'm then going to pop the Boa to get myself 1 extra turn. And I pop the Sunny to take 1 hit of damage. And then we're going to burst on the 3rd turn with our Luffy Ace and our Sabo. And then we're just going to go all in with those orbs. So then on the final room, what we're going to be doing is, what I should have done, just to be a little bit safer, is I should have switched Luffy Ace into the strength versions for Luffy Ace here, just so I had more damage. But I had way more than enough damage with Luffy Ace being a quick unit. So definitely can use him as a strength unit on the final boss here, just to make sure you have more than enough damage to kill the final boss. The next team we're running today is going to be a V2 Fuji team, and actually got totally screwed over on turn 1 here, and we got the secret stage, which I don't really see happening a ton of times, but like it really screwed me over on turns. Otherwise, I would have had a much easier time on this Colosseum, and that really sucked. I hated getting stalked by that guy. So we're on the 3rd stage, of course. We just are good, great, perfect, and go ahead and get in there. And I actually have to stall out 1 turn, I believe, on Danton Jiao just to make orbs. So what I use is the Diamante, which saves my life, by the way. I think it's good, great, and perfect. You know, get a little bit of damage in, and then I go ahead and burst with a Kairos and V2 Fuji in order to kill him. You can do 1 turn to kill him, 2 turns to kill him, doesn't really matter. And I actually messed up a good, great, perfect here on the first time around, and it screwed it up. Kairos brings a type boost into the room for us. Then we use Sanji for a chain lock, and then use Cavendish for the conditional. Unfortunately, I didn't even get to pop the Cavendish because the ship was not activated because of the first stage, so he's not really needed. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for a second version of the multiple team compilation for Colosseum Lucy version 2. I'll probably come out with another compilation at a later date, just when more teams come out, when we have more legends, etc., and make it a little bit more fun. Alright guys, well thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you smack the like button down below, as well as the subscribe button down below, so we get lots of support in the channel, and of course, keep the channel growing. If you guys do want to get notifications on all my videos, make sure you hit the bell notification right next to it so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Have a great rest of the day, guys. Peace.